Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Farhan, and today I'm going to explain the introduction and the term used in accounting fraud. So, accounting fraud is a significant problem that has negative consequences for various users of accounting information, including shareholders, creditors, seniors, managers, and society in general. Different organizations provide different definitions for accounting fraud. One definition states that it's an intentional act carried out by individuals in management, employees, or third parties, resulting in misleading financial or accounting statements subject to an audit. Another definition describes is a deliberate action involving deception by individuals in the management team, those responsible for governing the entity, employees, or third parties with the aim of gaining an unfair or illegal advantage. In simpler terms, accounting fraud involves intentionally manipulating my financial statement or tax return for personal or corporate benefit. It is a severe form of fraud that not only affects the entire organization but also impact all users of the information, both internal and external stakeholders. Now, we got to the next topic, which is the common term used in corporate. I will be explaining one by one for every term that you can see right now on the slide. So, tone at the top refers to the ethical values and behavior set by senior management and the board of director in an organization. It plays a vital role in creating an ethical culture. In the article, the tone at the top by Daniel J. Kelly, it emphasized the CEO responsibility in establishing ethical standards, leading by example and effectively communicating by them. To be ethical leader, the CEO need to have a clear ethical stance, follow the rules, set a good example, and communicate effectively. Following the rules mean ensuring everyone knows and follow ethical guidelines. Setting an example involves embodying ethical behavior in both professional and in personal life, being transparent to public scrutiny. It's also important to communicate the company ethical policy to all employees. This article also highlights the significance of role models in promoting ethical behavior, concluding that ethical business tend to be more successful in the long run. So, for the CEO of Serba Dynamic, it is important to play a crucial role in the ethical role model for the company. They need to maintain a clean image, set a good example, and follow the guidance outlined in the article. This includes having a clear ethical principles, following company rules, leading by examples, and effectively communicating with stakeholders. When the CEO promotes ethical behavior, it positively impacts the company reputation and inspire employees to do the same. Now, we're going to talk about the asymmetric information. So, asymmetric information refer to a situation where one party in a transaction possess more or superior information compared to the other party. This create an imbalance in the level of knowledge between the buyers or seller of any two parties involved in the transaction. For instance, sellers can exploit buyers in certain transactions because they have more knowledge about the goods being sold. The concept of asymmetric information was initially introduced by George A. Akerlof in the 1970 paper titled The Market for Lemons, Quality Uncertainty and the Market Mechanism. Not only for Serba Dynamic but for every corporate, having asymmetrical information is a no-go for us. It only bring fraudulent behavior to work. Next, we're going to talk about the role and responsibility of the board and director. The board of directors, as outlined in the agency theory, is responsible for protecting shareholders' interests. They oversee management, set strategic direction, monitor financial performance, ensure compliance, and establish internal control. Additionally, the board promotes ethical and socially responsible behavior. Their role is crucial in corporate governance, safeguarding stakeholders' interests. In the Serba Dynamic fraud case, the board of directors failed in their crucial oversight role, neglecting due diligence of financial statement and not addressing concerns from auditor and investor. This emphasized the need for diligent and responsible board to prevent fraud, ensure accountability, and protect stakeholder. Consequences for the company and stakeholders are significant. Boards must act in the company best interest, establish an effective governance system, and prevent fraudulent activities. The next term is human bias or self-interest. Human bias and personal interest occur when individuals prioritize their own interests over the organization they work for. In the agency theory, they become problematic as CEO and other agents may act in self-serving way instead of considering shareholders' best interest. For instance, in the Serba Dynamic fraud case, the CEO was accused of fraudulent behavior to benefit themselves or others within the company. This highlights the importance of robust corporate governance and conflict of interest management to prevent such situation. Now, we're going to talk about the last term, which is the fiduciary duty of the board and director. The fiduciary board duty of board of director consisting of duty of care, duty of loyalty, and duty of obedience. Duty of Okay, this require them to act in the best interest in the company and its shareholder. The duty of care necessitates making informed decision with diligence, such as estimated and comprehensive financial report. The duty of loyalty entails acting openly and in the best interest in the organization, avoiding conflict of interest. Lastly, the duty of obedience involves ensuring compliance with law and rules, as well as adherence to the company bylaws and article of incorporation. In the case of Serba Dynamic, allegation of financial irregularities and fraud indicate there's a possible failure to fulfill these duties. The board was responsible for accurate financial reporting, but fraudulent practices were unnoticed, possibly breaching the duty of care. Conflict of interest, such as awarding contract to the CEO family-linked companies, were not addressed, partially violating to the duty of loyalty. This concern raised doubt about the board governance and oversight. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is AFIQAH binti IDRIS RAYA, and how the fraud was perpetrated and concealed. So the recent issue between Serba Dinamik Holding Berhad and KPMG has made news in Malaysia since the future legal actions is illegally related to the audit firm irresponsible breach of contractuals and statutory commitments. So the Serba Dynamic Group and TSE Global are managed by Serba Dynamic, an investment holding company with its main office in Malaysia. The group principally provide information technology solutions, energy and engineering service to the oil and gas and power generation industries. And the lawsuit was filed after KPMG cites many issues in audit annual report for the financial year ending 31 December 2020 concerning server dynamic invoices and transactions. So it was thought that KPMG was unable to validate the third-party information related to this transaction. So KPMG has denied the claim and resigned as the external auditor because it is unable to carry out its tasks independently, citing publicly available facts. So following several dynamic legal actions, 5 non-executive and independent directors stepped down, 4 of whom expressed their dissatisfaction with the position, and the company's stock price dropped to an all-time low of 23% of June 25, 2021. So, Serba Dynamic filed a legal lawsuit against KPMG in this matter. So, Serba Dynamic must present proof that KPMG did breach its obligation as well as illegal professional negligence, breach of contract, and breach of statutory duty in order to achieve in their legal case. So regardless of how the dispute is resolved, this audit issue act as a reminder to professionals in accounting to uphold the norms of reliability, transparency, and honesty in independent financial reporting. The auditors are obligated to report any infractions or abnormalities to the FC promptly. Who is the whistleblower? So a whistleblower is someone who informs the public or someone in a higher position about any illegal activities such as fraud, corruption, and etc. They might be an employee of the firm or a government agency. So the KPMG is an external auditor at the Serba Dynamic and also a whistleblower. So KPMG fulfill their requirement to notify the Securities and Exchange Commission after failing to complete its audit report on the transaction discrepancy. But Serba Dynamic has filed a lawsuit against KPMG for fallacies and breach of duty. So the corporation contend that KPMG conclusion were made in bad faith and that they violate their obligation as auditors. So Serba Dynamic should make the best decision for the company because the company has suffered a substantial losses since the news was made by Bursa Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURAFRINA ARISHA with NAZRI. So now I will discuss about the pressures, opportunities and rationalization of perpetrating the fraud. The first one is pressures. A decline in the company financial prospect is a common motivation for companies to make changes to their financial statement. For example, a decline in earnings could affect the company's ability to obtain finance. Companies may also manipulate results to match analyst estimate or benchmarks such as prior year earnings to fulfill debt covenant restriction, to reach a bonus target based on earnings, or to artificially inflate stock price. In rare circumstances, managers could manipulate earnings for the purpose to preserve their reputation. Based on this case, Serba Dinamik's intention in issuance of fraudulent financial statement is to portray the company in its finest and greatest image. However, this incentive results in the company's fraudulent financial reporting. Financial statement fraud makes the information in the financial statement not useful and generates serious errors that might deceive users of the financial statement. The second one is opportunities. Although all companies' financial segment could potentially be manipulated, the risk is greater for companies with industries that involve considerable judgment and estimation. For example, organizations with different inventories in many locations have a higher of misrepresentation when valuing inventories. The risk of misstatement of inventories increase if the inventories have approached obsolescence. Accounting employee turnover or additional deficiencies in accounting and information procedures could provide a chance of misstatement. Based on this case, a poor tone at the top refers to high management and the board of director commitment to being unethical, lacking of integrity, and being dishonest about the findings of financial statement fraud. Upper management has more control over financial statement and have the ability to convince accounting internal auditors to misstate financial statements in order to maintain the company in excellent financial condition. Serba Dinamik with a poor tone at the top result in a company that is more likely to engage in unethical behavior, be involved in a fraudulent action, and not support internal controls. The third one is rationalization. The top management attitudes towards financial reporting is a major risk factor in determining the possibility of fraudulent financial statement. Fraudulent financial reporting is more likely if the CEO or other senior management shows a substantial disregard for the financial reporting process, such as frequently too optimistic estimates and being excessively concerned with fulfilling analyst revenue forecasts. Management attitude or set of ethical principles may also make it simpler for them to justify fraudulent behavior. Based on this case, the upper management had personal justification for their dishonesty and fraudulent financial statement. They, as a senior manager, are aware of the truth of each item in the financial statement, but they desire to commit fraud in order to maintain their company looking good and in a good standing because financial statements are everything in their business in the bursa. This caused by the fact that financial statements give a snapshot of company's financial health at a specific point in time, providing insight into its performance, operation, cash flow, and general conditions. Investor will not invest in their company if its performance and revenue are below level. They, as a top managers, intend to save the company in order to maintain and acquire additional investors. Thus, they fraudulent the financial statement in order to keep the company in a good standing. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum. My name is NURHIDAYAH and I will give the explanation on the next part, which is the consequences, effect, or penalty imposed on the auditors, shareholders, company, and also management. The first one is auditors. In Serba Dinamik case, KPMG was the audit company that is responsible for the company's audit, and this happening during the year 2021. Serba Dinamik wants to sue KPMG for the loss and damages that they had to bear, and KPMG actions from submitting the several issues related to Serba Dinamik's bill, along with the transaction in the company's draft annual report for the year ended 2020. Okay, for our general knowledge, auditor must be independent, especially when it comes to giving an opinion on the client's company financial statement alongside their transaction, and have to report on any irregularities that they have detected. In this case, the auditor are unable to confirm the irregularities related to subordinate transaction that they have detected. So KPMG stepped down from their duties as the company, as the subordinate external auditors, due to the reason of being unable to continue their duties independently. KPMG has worked for subordinate around 7 years, and this action shows that the auditors have a great understanding of subordinate's business environment. Under Section 320 Capital Markets and Services Act 2007, auditors are required to report to the Securities Commission Malaysia and also Bursa Malaysia if there is any issue that adversely affect the financial position of a company. In this case, we can see that KPMG was not liable to be sued by Serba Dinamik, as the statement that they have submitted is in good faith and in the intended performance of any duty imposed on the auditor. Not just by simply stepping down because they have no reason to do so. So in this case, KPMG cannot be sued and was not liable, as they have submitted the irregularities detected by them in good faith and in the intended performance as an auditor. Sebenarnya, in this case, Sebenarnya also failed in proving that the auditors were in fact breaching their duties, have to professional negligence, and also breach the contract. So in this case, KPMG was just doing its job as auditor, and this showed that KPMG have integrity and also independent in doing their job. Meaning so that auditors does not liable, and in this case, KPMG was the wrong one as they have restated their financial statement. And KPMG just doing their jobs by submitting the irregularities that they have detected to the Security Commission Malaysia and also Bursa Malaysia. Okay, the second one is the consequences, effect or penalty on the company. Serba Dinamik has announced in 2021 that the company want to take legal action against their external auditor, which is KPMG. And in this case, they want to sue the auditors for the amount of 4 billion, since the company has to bear a loss of 4.9 billion in their market capitalization. And they also lost the trust of their shareholders, investors, and also financial institutions. They also lost their confidence of their clients, whether it is domestically or internationally. So from this, we can say that the company has to bear a lot of consequences happening when KPMG submitted the issue that related to the irregularities on the company financial transaction. This is because the case was disclosed publicly, and everyone knows the case of KPMG submitting the irregularities of Serba Dinamik's financial transaction. This will give the company a bad reputation, as this will also affect the trust of third parties that related to Serba Dinamik. Okay, in October 2021, Serba Dinamik share trading was suspended by Bursa Malaysia in accordance with the inability of the company in disclosing the fact-finding update by EY Consulting. The actions that have been taken by the SC Malaysia and Bursa have significantly affected the company in loss about 5.8 million from the market, also with the loss borne by the public investor. So from this, we can say that when they is unable to disclose their fact-finding update, so the SC Malaysia and Bursa have suspended their share trading in the market, and this has affected the Serba Dinamik in losses about 5.8 million, also borne by the public investor. After this case has been decided by court, Serba Dinamik was found guilty under Section 369 AAB of the Capital Market and Services Act 2017, which stipulates that a person with the intention to deceive make a false or misleading statement or report to the Commission. The company overall in this case has to pay RM 16 million compound that was issued by SC Malaysia. Okay, so for the next one is the consequences, effect and also penalty to the company management. The company management is the body that will ensure the company operation works efficiently and is responsible for preparing and also disclosing the financial transaction of the company to the auditors. The management will disclose the financial transaction of the company in terms of financial statement, which we know as statement of financial position, statement of comprehensive income, and also statement of cash flow. In this case, the management was also responsible as the company is found guilty of disclosing false and misleading statement to the Security Commission Malaysia. As we know, when they are responsible for disclosing the financial statement, financial transaction in form of financial statement, so they have to be responsible when there are fraud happening regarding their financial transaction, which is the financial statement. The Attorney General Chamber has decided to drop charges against the company and 4 of Serba Dinamik executives, the 4 of them to be taken punitive action instead of being fined by the AZIZI. So from this we can say that 4 of the executive of Serba Dinamik was being fined was to be taken punitive action instead of being fined, and they were also compounded for 3 million for each person as they are submitting false statements regarding the stock exchange of the company. There are also officers that were charged under Section 369AB, same as the company charge of the Capital Market and Services Act 2007, and also additional of Section 3671 of the same Act that stipulates where an offence against this act or any regulation made under had been committed by a body corporate, any person who at the time of the commission of the offence was a director, chief executive, an officer, or a representative of the body corporate, or was purporting to act in such capacity, is deemed to have committed that offence unless he proved that the offence was committed without his consent or connivance, and that he exercised all such diligence to prevent the commission of the offence as he ought to have exercised, having regard to the nature of his function in that capacity and to all the circumstances. Last but not least, Serba Dinamik's Vice President, which is Muhammad Hafiz Othman, which also the Vice President of the Account and Finance of Serba Dinamik, was charged with an alleged breach of the Capital Market and Services Act 2007, and punishable under Section 368(2) of the same Act, because by that time, Hafiz was the latest executive in accordance with investigation carried out on the Serba Dinamik's financial account by the Security Commission Malaysia. By the time that SC Malaysia is doing investigation against Serba Dinamik, on that time, Muhammad Hafiz Othman is the Vice President of Account and Finance, who is in charge of the financial transaction of the company. And for the last one is for the shareholders. For the shareholders, after the case of Serba Dinamik with KPMG, for the first one, we know that the Bursa Malaysia and SC Malaysia has suspended the share investment of Serba Dinamik in the market. So after the case of Serba Dinamik with KPMG, the market price of the company's share decreased as it gives the company a bad reputation in the investment market, as there is fraud happening in the group itself. This will affect the shareholders as the share that they own was also being suspended in the market by the SC Malaysia. When the share investment is being suspended in the market, this will affect the shareholder itself, because shareholder is the person who will hold the share in the company. So this will affect moreover for the shareholder. As for the penalty, Dato' Dr. Muhammad Abdul Karim Abdullah is the group's managing director and also one of the controlling shareholder in Serba Dinamik, was compounded 3 million together with the top 4 executives in the management a year. and he was charged for submitting false statement regarding the stock exchange, which involved a revenue of 6.01 billion for the group's 12-month financial period ended 31 December 2020. So this case happening is in 2021, but the financial transaction that they have submitted the false financial transaction amount and also regarding the stock exchange is happening during the year ended 2020. And this is why the case was investigated in the year 2021. The amount charged is 3 million, and this is the maximum amount that was allowed under the Capital Market and Services Act 2007 for the submission of information in the company's financial statement. So that's all from me.
Okay, so in the conclusion, the Serba Dynamic Audit issue serve as an incentive to accounting to comply with the standard of reliability, truthfulness, and correctness in independent financial reporting. Any misbehavior or irregularities must be immediately reported by auditor to the Security Commission of Malaysia. Executive of accounting firms should serve as role model by ensuring that ethical standards venerate the whole company in order to properly educate auditors as they navigate any ethical dilemma. So to earn the public trust, auditor must promote the personal and professional ethical standards of the accounting professions. So in our opinion, auditor should be natural. Auditing is a precaution that ensure a company financial statement are free from material misstatement, whether caused by fraud or error. In truth, all auditors chosen by companies that are listed have been authorized by regulatory bodies or fulfill specific requirements. And KPMG action and findings could often a tiny percentage of Serba Dynamik is shareholder. However, being one of the big four accounting companies, KPMG concerns should always be taken into consideration. So this is particularly relevant in the case of auditing opinion and issues. So in the future, at any point, an audit red flag is raised, always take the auditor's side. So auditors are independent and act in the best interest of retail shareholder and the truth. So indeed, they are not always right. However, their reliability and position, particularly their global recognition, indicate that the difficulties addressed should be regarded with cautiously.
So for the last one, as a closing, I want to share one wisdom regarding the something that interesting based on this assignment and Serba Dynamik case. The words of wisdom is you have to accept the fact that sometimes you might get knocked down lower. For the explanation, you are responsible for preparing for any situation that may occur in the future at all times, not only when you are at a higher level. Most importantly, you must be prepared for any situation that you will be encountered if you are not down. This situation will cause you numerous problems, not just in work, but also in your personal life and your surroundings. If you are well prepared, you will tackle this situation with an independent and honest attitude. However, if you are not prepared for this critical situation, you are going to handle it with stressful thinking and will have the boldness to do something awful. All problems in this world have a good solution. Do not be persuaded by individuals with a poor attitude and select the method that will damage yourself in order to solve the problems. That's all from us. Thank you.